quickly... Hopefully that won't be terribly loud. I'm still kind of tuning out all the audio kinks, but here we go. Welcome to coffee break today, guys. I'm just going to make sure that all my settings are good to go, and you guys tell me if you can hear me. I'm going to open up chat on my second monitor here. Just got out of a meeting, so we are... you know, just trying to make sure everything's kind of working again. I think it's just going to be me today, so you're stuck with Ren. Hi, master student at UWM. And I will read our land acknowledgement before we get super started, but I'm going to quickly do... well, let me read the land acknowledgement, and then I'll read the offset wizard just to make sure everything is good to go. So, here we go. Our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that in Milwaukee we live and work on traditional Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee homelands along the southwest shores of the Michigamme, part of North America's largest system of freshwater lakes where the Milwaukee, Menominee, Connecticut, and Connecticut rivers meet, and the people of Wisconsin's sovereign Anishinaabe, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Oneida, and Mohican nations remain present. We are ready to go. Again, I'm just kind of taking for granted that you can hear me. This will be a pretty chill stream. Least of all because I'm the only one playing games in here. Oop. Look, I forgot my controls. There we go. I probably need to do that one more time because I switched the jump button and the hit button. Yeah, 11 milliseconds is not my... we can make that better. Let's quickly make sure that that's all tuned. So, Unbeatable is a rhythm game. You can download it for free right now on Steam. This is just the demo, the white album, or white label, rather. There will be a full release in the future, though I don't know when it's scheduled. This game was Kickstarter funded. I don't believe the Kickstarter is still going, but, you know, that's a good thing. They've succeeded by a long time. by a long shot. Also, there will be a beat map editor in the full release, so if you happen to like the way the game plays, but you're not a fan of the music, we will be able to just kind of add our own tracks. Alright, let me turn the desktop audio down a little bit on the game send. There we go. I don't want it too quiet, but I want you guys to, like, not be straining to hear me. Hey, Mathematics 117. Always nice to have you, even in the chat. Where's the volume mixer? God, I really just want to make sure all these things are balanced out. It's so hard with rhythm games. How does anyone really stream rhythm games consistently? It's a really hard balance to hit. Okay, so I'm going to start with the kind of tutorial level just to take you guys through it. And as you can see, I've already scored on higher point values, but I'm just going to start at beginner so you can see what the game's like. And I might play with some of the settings I've never touched before today, just because why not? You should be sitting up straight, but without stiffness, and should feel comfortable. It is a 2-button rhythm game. I can either hit on the ground or I can jump. And that's it. Everything else just comes from stacking complexity. Very simple design. Very effective. And I will kind of intermittently stop so you can enjoy the music and not just hear my voice talking over the game. This is kind of a chill stream, I hope. So this is just beginner difficulty, like I said. It gets substantially more frantic. I think that's the best way to describe it. But right now, we're just doing some pretty basic stuff. Whenever those double lines come up, I just have to press both buttons, and the big long ones you hold. It's like Guitar Hero that way. There is some story content in the demo as well. It's really affecting, really good stuff. Very simple, kind of like slice of life stuff around the different stories. That's all there is to it. And, you know, you can get access to that. I think it's just whenever you play the song for the first time. There's no, like, button that I can find to, like, get through it. Also, wow, I 100%ed that. Nice. I've never done a 100% on anything in this entire game. That's awesome. I never have to touch that again. That's a... Wow, okay. I guess I'm just going to be good at this game today, guys. Check that out. But yeah, it's... So I don't know how to trigger the story outside of, like, you know, the first time you play through the tracks. Otherwise, I would show you some of the cutscenes and the, like, silhouetting that they do and how the voice acting comes... Or not voice acting, but, like, how the simulated voice acting is kind of managed and that sort of stuff. It's really cool. So, I want to kick it up to only normal and hard difficulties for this, unless I have, like, a low score that I'm not super jazzed about. But I'm just going to go through, like, track by track, and we're just going to play the album. And I hope it brings you some joy while you're studying. And every once in a while I might stop to throw a piece of commentary in there. Let's do Empty Diary on normal. And also, like I said, there are a couple features I haven't played with that increase the pace of the song and that sort of thing to modulate difficulty, and I might play around with those today, I don't know. Today we're a radio station. Also, the worst thing that happens whenever you play a rhythm game is whenever you have to scratch your nose, I swear. So you may have noticed the switching back and forth in the game, where you're on one track and then you're on another track pretty regularly. And this doesn't really add any complexity to the game, like in terms of like traditional difficulty. Like, it doesn't make it harder to hit anything. I don't have to do anything different to hit anything. But the difference in visual stimulus will throw you off, I find. The whipping is a really cinematic feature of the game, but it can be difficult to keep track of on occasion. Also, whenever there are two tracks, my bandmates will come help me out in terms of managing the actual hitting of things, which is pretty cool. So they're not just set pieces. The color palette's pretty consistent and really nice. It pops really hard against the filters. In fact, I was playing around with this the other day and turned all the filters off. And just to see, like, you know, what it would look like without the kind of post-processing. And here, I'll just show you guys. It's really interesting. It still looks good, but, like, I found that, like, I can't really play the game in this mode. I find it to be really difficult because my eyes are expecting the VHS filter and the post-processing on. So obviously I'm not going to keep that off, but it is neat to have that option in case your eyes are not like my eyes, and apparently I can only play with the post-processing on. So let's do a mirror, and let's kick it up to hard difficulty, which means I'll probably suck lots of ass. But why not? All the tracks are made for the game too, and they're just they're so good. So now we can see the 4 tracks coming into play all at once here. And it's not that, like, I have to do anything different here either. It's, again, just visual difference. Like, beat will automatically jump to the active track. So it's not... God, okay, this is really hard. But beat will automatically jump to the newest thing that's coming up, regardless of what direction it's coming in. So I don't have to worry about, like... making those changes actively, which is good because, God, that would be really hard. But it also is tricky from a visual standpoint because I'm constantly having to readjust the way where I'm expecting things to come from. Wow, I am losing frames. I do find difficulty in rhythm games really interesting, because I think the best rhythm game difficulty is also the hardest. That is to say, the more active you are in the rhythm game, generally speaking, the more difficult it is. But the more rewarding the gameplay is, because it's really satisfying to line up your hits more with the song, you know? And I wonder if it comes through and like if it's visually satisfying for you guys to watch me the more perfect I am at the game. Things I would ask my co-pilots if they were here. That is a horrible run, but I did make it through, and that's honestly kind of impressive. Yes, it also has shaky cam hard sell, and I can turn off the shaky cam if I so desire in the options menu, which is nice. I haven't actually tried that. I'm going to try reduce camera motion. Let's see what it does for the game. It might make things harder for me. I'm also going to take the quality down to, well... Yeah, I think I'm going to take the quality down from ultra to high. I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference, but it would be nice to... not drop frames during the gameplay here. So we'll see. I don't know if I can deal with the dropping frames thing. That's gonna be pretty hard. Let's do Forever Now, and let's just keep up on the hard streak. Why not, right? And like I said earlier, there's gonna be a beat map editor for the game, so you will be able to load Wonderwall into this game on release. Which is pretty amazing. Oh, hey! Whoa! We got a cutscene. Again, I don't know what triggers these. Yeah. So this is what I mean when I say these cutscenes are really slice of life, in the sense that there's there's a shadow play, and it's about kind of the day-to-day problems of this character in this world, as opposed to being, you know, something else. And I think it's nice and introspective, and more so than I would have expected from a game that looks like this. And for a game that has the tagline of music is illegal and you do crimes. I understand the full game is going to have a rather, you know, more existential storyline. But it's nice to get those interior moments with a character. Especially around the music that you're playing. It makes the songs matter more. I wonder if there'll ever be a moment where all 4 characters on the screen. It'd be pretty satisfying in the full release. But I don't know how they do it without adding some new mechanics to the game. Oh, I dropped my combo. Damn. So the way the combo works, by the way, is that every perfect you get adds into your combo meter. And a miss is the only thing that drops your combo. But you only get combo off of perfects.
That's smart.
Hey, Eric. I didn't know you were here.
Oh, you know me. I'm always lurking. I've been watching the stream and I released this new video and it's fucking popping off, so I was like responding to all the comments and stuff. So then I got pretty distracted. But you're having fun here playing a beat game. Very anime.
Yes. Very lo-fi.
It's actually a lot more fun to watch without being in chat with you, because then I don't have to mute the stream, so I can actually hear the music. And it's interesting, the idea of playing these games, not blind, but deaf. Deaf is the right word. Deaf. Seems a lot less fun. I'm a Beat Saber person, personally. I play a lot of that game. It's my rhythm game of choice.
I haven't played Beat Saber just because I don't have access to a headset, but like, it looked awesome when it came out, and there are a lot of like similarities in terms of like the action the character's taking in Beat Saber compared to this. Oh man, it's hard to comment and play a rhythm game.
Yeah, they kind of forcefully demand your attention.
I know we don't do a lot of rhythm games. I assume that's why. Let me switch over to Discord streaming. Maybe it'll send the audio to you. I've been having issues with the audio and Discord, but there. Hopefully I don't drop frames.
Yeah, just don't do it. It's gonna hurt. Trust me.
We'll see. Yes, Hard Sell, you do dodge Doritos. They're like inverse beats. I don't really know what any of the things you're hitting or dodging are in this game or why they're there. It doesn't really tend to matter that much in a rhythm game. There is like a story, like I said, to the full release, and so it'll be interesting to see how it gets ripped in. But I don't know. We'll see. Wow, okay, I haven't gotten this one yet. I don't know why I suddenly started getting the stories again. Yeah. These cutscenes are just awesome. I really hope that there's like more of this in the full release. I love this, like, me walking, like, in front of a projector and then seeing the image of whatever's going on in the background. This game is so focused on its materiality between the tape deck and that projector stuff. It's so cool. And then, like, I'm using a fucking microphone stand to beat these things. Oh, and also the whole soundtrack is available on YouTube to listen to. It's probably on Spotify, too. For anybody who wants to.
I always find it funny with these games, the scoring system. It's like this. It's always like these huge numbers in like the hundreds of thousands, right? It's never like you get one. It's never like, I don't know. You get 5 points for a perfect, 3 points for a good, and then 0 points for the thing or something, right? It's like 41, 9, 32. Actually, those aren't that big. I don't even know how you got up to 500,000 if you're only getting like 31 points per thing. I guess there's a lot of taps.
There is, and that multiplier.
The multiplier, yeah.
I don't know what my multiplier's at right now because I pay no attention to that number while I'm playing. It's there, but like I don't have the like mental real estate to look at it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny,
a fun
actually.
game to play with like a DDR mouse pad. Or DDR mouse pad. A DDR pad. Because it's 4, right?
It's actually only 2. It just auto tracks to whatever one is coming at me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So you could... I guess then it wouldn't be as fun to play on a DDR. I was thinking 4 and 4,
It'd be nice. I wonder if they're going to have like a 4-button system of play for some of the songs in the final, though, because you have 4 bandmates. And your other bandmates will come join you, during the fight. So it would make sense to, like, have 4 characters on screen at the same time. Ah, that's a hard one. Those delayed ones are messy. I will, like, power up an Unbeatable track by the end of this so that people can see the hardest difficulty, but it's terrifying. I do not know how anybody beats it. Which, I guess, like,
that's kind of always the case, though, with whether it's, like, speedrunning or it's playing a rhythm game at the hardest difficulty. It's like, you don't have no idea how someone will do it, and then you get to that point, right? You're like, oh, wow, it's totally doable. It's like playing guitar, right? I hate it when you're like, if you're a guitar player, every guitar player... Probably anyone who plays an instrument, probably like even piano or whatever, is familiar with this. But someone like coming up to you and being like, I could never do that." It's like the most annoying thing. It's like, I practiced, like, like you could, you could do it. It's called like, it just looks hard,
And it looks really hard. God, there's so many times I've tried to get into music, and it's like, it's something that fascinates me, and like that I find really relaxing when I play like shit, but I've never had the time to actually like put into the craft, and that's all it is, from what I understand, is like time and patience and skill. But like, you'll develop the skill with time and patience. It's one of those things that I kind of hope one day if I'll fall into, but who knows.
Sorry, what do you hope to fall into? I lost you for a second.
Actually playing one of the actually playing an instrument, like with some regularity.
You know what they say?
What did they say?
The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is today.
You're probably right. Maybe after the finals are over, though.
I can help you if you need an instrument. I have a lot of instruments. I'm a lifelong musician, and when I was in high school, I played fiddle. So I can play a little bit of everything. Nothing well, but I can play a little bit of... I've learned a lot of instruments.
What do you play? I'm kind of curious now.
Well, okay, so we'll just go with, first of all, things I played in high school band. I was in a choir. I'm not a good singer, though. I'm like maybe okay at singing bass parts, but I don't like singing bass parts. So anyways, but okay, so for jazz band, I played everything in the rhythm section. I played piano, drums, bass guitar, and regular guitar at various points in high school. So I played all of those. And I played trumpet for the jazz band for a couple songs. I played the first thing they needed me for was French horn. I joined band without knowing how to play anything other than bass guitar, and we already had a bass guitarist, but we didn't have enough French horn players. So the first thing I played was French horn. They were just like, play French horn. So I learned how to play French horn. Otherwise, and then I played the mellophone, which is basically the French horn, for marching band for 1 year. I played the timpani for marching band. I almost joined the Racine Scouts, which is like a marching band like corps. And when I got accepted in tryouts, and then I did a couple of practices, but then it was so much time commitment for a high schooler, and it was like a 4-hour drive from my home. So
Wow.
it was, and I had other friends in high school who were in that marching band. So it wasn't like I was doing it alone, but it was just too much for me, you know. But for them, I played the marimba, which was really fun. That was like the only time I really got to play the marimba was there, and I loved it. I love the marimba. It's a really, really fun instrument. And so that covers most of it. I did play a little bit of clarinet at one point, but that's like the one I couldn't even read sheet music with the clarinet today. I mean, I couldn't read sheet music for most things today. But I always loved jazz the most. So I got a little bit of everything. So today I play synthesizer for the band that I'm in.
Nice.
Not particularly well. I think, in fact, maybe my poor ability to play synthesizer is, in fact, my greatest strength as a synthesizer player. I don't do anything. I don't like do anything too complex. you know.
You're not overdoing it, basically.
Yeah, I'm not overdoing it, and so so I can do a little bit of everything.
Nice. That's really genuinely incredibly impressive.
No. Like the thing is it's more like, I mean, like, sure. Like I said, I think it's one of those things where A, practice pays off, and then B, I think it's just like, for at least for me, I don't know if this is for everyone, but you know, for me, it's always been easier to learn like the beginnings of something than it is to like master something. So I would not say like I've mastered any of those instruments, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even say I'm particularly good at any of them, but I can do all of them passively, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I've always found it's like... Ooh, I am really into this. Hold on. I think I'm gonna quit my commentary and try to get through this.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, so like, of course I've also then always liked rhythm games, you know, as a musician. So I liked Guitar Hero a lot in high school. I was pretty good, but I had a friend who was like way better than me, right? So then you never actually feel like you're good. Like even though like, you know, you can beat every song at the highest difficulty, right? You know, and get like an A on all of them or whatever the Guitar Hero equivalent is. It's like you have your friend who like perfects through the fire and the flames, and you're like, oh, okay, so I'm not actually good at this at all.
Yeah.
And so, but I like Guitar Hero a lot. I tried Osu. I never got into Osu. I guess it just wasn't for me. Love Beat Saber. Beat Saber's great. Best rhythm game ever. Personally. Sorry, Unbeatable. Right. Is that the name of this game? Unbeatable is just
yes,
beatable.
It's unbeatable. Is it beatable, Ren? Because you keep getting through the songs. No. That's the first time I've done that one.
But yeah, Beat Saber's so much fun. I love, and there's so many custom levels you can do, like for songs and stuff.
All the longevity in a rhythm game is in the beat map editor. I feel like
yeah.
I'll come back to this and play like these songs again because I happen to like them quite a bit. But like, God, I can't imagine like buying this game and like playing it for more than a year regularly if there wasn't a beat map editor, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, I don't know, I mean, like, what's the game that was on Steam that's been on Steam for a really long time that's just that? It's just load a song and then it auto-generates a rhythm game for you? I can't remember what it's called.
Thumper?
It might be Thumper.
No. Thumper is another decent river game. River game. What? Rhythm. I was like, man, that was a hard one. Let's see. No students emailed me today. Oh, I guess some did. We won't. Well, I already responded to them. Man, finals week. Ugh.
Yeah. Whew.
I'm glad that at least my finals week now is just being the teacher. It's nice.
Oh my god, that must be amazing. Actually, I've been like so fucking throttled by this Five Nights at Freddy's paper.
Yeah. I wonder if you'll reach it. I don't know if you will. But at some point between my master's and PhD, at some point between them, I started writing the papers like in advance. I'm not criticizing you or anything. I'm just saying, like, there was a point like in my master's where I didn't write them in advance, and it was like the crunch mentality. And then I think it was some point in like at the end of year one of my master's, it was just like, maybe it was the beginning of year two, where it's just like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna write this paper that's due next month, and like let's say it's a fall paper, so I'll write it in just early November, right? It's like done November 15th. You know, maybe that'll click for you.
Actually, I think like last night. Literally last night I was sitting there thinking to myself, why the hell do I wait till the end of the semester to write the paper? I only ever use like 1 or 2 books from the course. Why am I waiting to read all the books?
That's actually why I like the way have you taken a Stewart class this year?
Nah, it'll be next year during spring.
Oh man, did he like take the year off? Did he not teach anything?
I didn't see any. There wasn't any seminar that was available for me to take from him, so I assume so.
But yeah, so Stewart makes you like, he like makes it so that like everyone writes their things over the semester, and then you talk about them, like they're like part of the class discussion. Like, okay, this person wrote a paper on, I think my first one for Stewart was on Super Mario 64, and I wrote about how it was kid-like, or like it was like Alice in Wonderland. Like, I think that was my primary point. It was kind of like comparing it literarily. It was the first thing I ever wrote on a video game.
Wow.
Yeah. I got my MA in, well, my first thing in postgraduate study. I took a class in interactive fiction when I was a senior in my undergrad, and that was on Dark Souls. It actually got published on Pop Matters, but I was a regular contributor on Pop Matters, so it wasn't like a big deal. Like, I could write I would write blog posts for them, so like, you know, it was more like my editor was also my instructor at UW Stevens Point. So my instructor was like, "Can I put this up?" You know what I mean? Like, as it was a special feature. So I mean, it wasn't just a normal blog post. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So my first one was on that, but Stewart makes it so it's like your paper's due like October 15th, the week before that class, and then it's like, then like everyone reads it, and then you talk about it in class, like the ideas and whatnot. Not really like criticizing the writing as much, just talking about like, yeah, like, oh yeah, like, you know, like, this is a really interesting idea, let's talk about it. And so, but here's the really funny part, is for that class with Stewart, and maybe this solidified me as a bona fide gamer, because like they thought I was going to do film. They thought like I was supposed to be a film person coming into the PhD program. I think, like, you know, they pegged me, right, because I got my MA in film, and I think it was because I wrote the first one in Alice in Wonderland. Stewart like didn't like it. He's like, and I think Stewart admitted his bias. He said like, you know, like, gaming's tried really hard to get like, or like gaming studies has tried really hard to be like, games aren't just for kids, you know, and you're writing this paper that's like Super Mario Bros. Is like a kid's book. And so my second one was about the camera in Super Mario 64. So I kept with that, and like I just completely did a completely different paper. Like I just completely rewrote it from scratch, and for the end of the semester, because you do like a revision on the paper. And I think that might have been impressive or something, you know. And then from there on, I've like only written about games since then.
Now you have a YouTube channel that's doing really well about games.
I wouldn't say really well, but it's, I mean, I'm satisfied with its growth, yes.
Well, I think the essays are really good, and there's been increased community activeness, and it's a new channel, and YouTube's really unkind to new channels. So
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I would say it's less that YouTube is unkind and more that the YouTube market is very saturated, especially for gaming content.
Yes.
And so, not necessarily for my niche within gaming content, which is like video essays, but it's hard for like an algorithm to understand the difference in what I make and like a let's play probably can understand the difference decently well, but not like a highlight reel or something like that, you know, of some stream or something. Like they're about the same length in time, you know, they have about the same amount of talking in them. So it's oversaturated, and it's very, so I would, maybe the better word be very competitive, right? So that makes it hard to grow. And actually there are a lot of people doing video essays. I'm part of 2 different video essay discords.
Wow.
You know, there's people coming out with video essays like all the time, you know? And so, so yeah, so it, you know, so I'm satisfied with, you know, I've been going at it for like 6 months. I got near almost 500 subscribers, almost 10,000 views, or over 10,000 views now,
Yeah.
I guess. So
I saw that that notification. I was like, damn. I mean, it's just, you put a little time into something and you hope it pays you back, right? Every day. That's the idea.
Yeah, something like that. Next week's video is on Solitaire.
Ooh. So you're just going through the like auto-downloaded on your PC, on your Windows desktop games right now?
That wasn't the intention, but I think what had happened is I recorded a little bit of Solitaire footage for my Minesweeper video. For those unaware, this week's video is how the heck do you speedrun Minesweeper? And then I think at some point while I was going to bed that night after doing that, I was just thinking about games and stuff, like, you know, I'm getting my PhD in games. What do you think I do when I'm trying to sleep? And I thought about the phrase that's often talked about in like in specifically competitive card games, but also in specifically competitive card games, but also in like MOBAs too, which is called they're just playing solitaire, right? It's like describing like a combo deck, right? And it's like, well, you know, like the combo players they're just playing solitaire, and they're you know, unless like it's not fun, right? It's interesting because right, you're talking about an interactive game, right? Solitaire is an interactive game, but you're decrying someone else for quote unquote playing solitaire in a competitive space because solitaire is non-interactive, presumably, right? And so I find that juxtaposition to be interesting. And like a MOBA like Dota would be like picking a hero who just kind of farms the map, right? Or on League, right? And then wins at like 50 minutes, right? They're purposely avoiding you so that they can win later, right? Without interacting with you. And some people get really, you know, they get really upset about that style of play. And I thought it'd be interesting to write a video. This was the question that popped into my head. What's so bad about solitaire? You know, I think that could be so sometimes the title comes to you before you write a word of the essay. you know. That's what happened with the one that Amber. Right, Amber's the right name, right? I'm not Amber, or is it Amber Lee?
Amber Lee? Yeah.
Yeah, that Amber Lee, right? They suggested
how do you speedrun Stardew Valley?
And then I reworded that to how the heck do you speedrun Stardew Valley? Now I've gotten 2 videos out of that idea. And
it's a really good concept. Like, I would love to. The Stardew Valley video was really good. So like, it's not just a really good concept; it's really good in execution. And I think you said that you've been like talking to the speedrun community on Reddit too around those videos.
Yeah. So like I post. That's where I'll like the how the heck do you speedrun? Oh my gosh! It just the Minesweeper video just crossed 400 views.
Wow!
In the first 2 hours. The next best video was my Sokoban video in 2 hours, which is at 66. So this is 8 times better almost than my second best video in the first 2 hours.
Nice.
And that's entirely because it's popping off on the Minesweeper, or not on the Minesweeper subreddit, the speedrunning subreddit. They really like it. You know, you got your Summoning Salt, your Carl Jobsts, your what's that, the Goose Guy. You know, they really like their speedrunning videos. those
Yeah.
people. Good for them. I'm gonna try to. I'll have to do like a how the heck do you speedrun some other game I've speedrun like Celeste, Super Mario 64, or Portal.
Oh, they've just added a new mechanic. Now it's feeding me notes on the left-hand side and then making them invisible just before they reach my my goalpost. That's mean.
You know, you gotta keep throwing curveballs, right? You know, like otherwise it gets boring. It's cool because a rhythm game can do this, right? Because it's all to the rhythm, and at least in theory, right? So a bad rhythm game, maybe not. But right, making the motes invisible, right? In theory, doesn't impact you too as bad as like if a Dark Souls boss became invisible right before he threw an attack at you, right?
Oh,
in that
God.
latter situation, right? Well, now I don't know what the pattern is, right? But because it's based on a rhythm, you can kind of figure it out. I was watching a video the other day, and I guess all the Dark Souls bosses attack to the music.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I have beaten every one of those games. I didn't know that.
It's why people find the Dance of the Boreal Valley so difficult, because it's in a 3/4 time signature as opposed to the normal. Oh my god, that's brutal. Both
Maybe
directions.
That's why I beat Dance of the Boreal Valley on my first try, because I didn't know it. Or maybe because I'm a musician, right? I slipped into the 3/4 timing easily. That kind of sounded braggy, like I beat. I didn't even know that was a hard boss fight until you just said it now.
People find that one really hard. Holy shit, that's the first time I've done an unbeatable difficulty in this game. That's nasty.
You did great, dude.
I did okay. I missed.
Empty diary. You got like a B.
Yeah,
A B is a passing grade.
that is a passing grade.
I have some students who would love to get Bs.
Hell yeah, that's maybe the funniest thing I've heard all day. So I want to, since I'm at proper rhythm, I am just going to keep going around and doing the unbeatable difficulty ones. I probably have time to do like 2 more, and then I want to play with some of the optional settings just to show them off, because I don't know what they do, and I kind of want to play with them. So we'll see what happens.
Leaning out a little bit more.
I can't believe that I'm just getting all of the story stuff now. Again, I have no idea what triggered it to start giving me that again. But I'm really glad it does. Because this is just like... They're so neat, they're really neat little moments. And they're super relatable in different ways. And it's just... I think I mentioned this before at the start of the stream, but like... I didn't expect this game to go slice of life on me, you know? Especially not in the demo.
That's kind of the thing. That was like the whole... There's like a Twitter, like, I wouldn't call it... What would I wouldn't call it drama or feud. I'll call it a discussion. I don't know if anything on Twitter qualifies as a discussion ever, but about quote-unquote wholesome games. Just funny because, I mean, I made a game on... I made a video on earnest games, just pretty much the same concept. But I think that a lot of games... right now, like, that's part of their selling point, right? And it seems like this might be one of them. It's like this slice of life drama, right? It's like this kind of a little bit more like wholesome kind of way to construct the narrative of the game. You know, I don't know, rather than like Final Fantasy End of the World.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Iconfella is definitely about the end of the world, and so is Undertale. So I guess maybe I'm just wrong. But I don't know. I think that there's definitely an appetite for this kind of thing, and I think that the like it's kind of reached like the market point, right, where the audience who wants this kind of experience, right, of like the slice of life, the wholesome, like you know, this one's kind of like anime, right, a little bit, this art style, like I think that's a big enough share of the market, right, where like now games are kind of catering specifically to that niche.
And good. I mean, I like the idea of like telling smaller stories in games. Honestly. Not because I don't like big stories, but because I get tired of big stories. It's a lot of emotional energy.
Yeah. Well, I find I don't love the word small stories because like I always think that like, but well, maybe I prefer, maybe, I don't know, small scale stories, right? Where like the fate of because small kind of implies maybe like less important. I don't think you mean that, but it can maybe give the wrong impression.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like small scale stories more than big scale stories. Like big scale stories, like I mean like it's like there's just like suddenly like the end of the world is on the line. It's like I don't care anymore. It happens in like so many movies, right? Like the only movies now that can get me to care about the end of the world are like Mission Impossible movies. I don't like like I don't care about the end of the world and like anything else. Like the stakes, like those aren't stakes anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're I'm numb to it, right? And so it's so much more meaningful, right, to have a story that's just about a character, because I'm a character. Right? I'm a small person. I want stories about small people, or quote unquote small people. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's like a fatigue, right? But a lot of video games, right, do the whole end of the world, or just like big stakes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you described it as like requiring emotional energy, which that's probably your experience with NBA. But for me, it's just like I completely cease to care about the story. You know what I mean? Like in that moment, when it's like, okay. Yeah, in some games that's fine. Like if I'm playing Doom Eternal or something, I don't need to care about the end of the world. I just want to blow up some demons, right? But some games, right? They're hoping that like it's one of the reasons why I have a hard time with JRPGs. It's like I very rarely get to the point where I actually care about like the characters very much, and the gameplay doesn't do it for me either. A lot of times with those, and so then it's just like, what am I like doing?
Yeah, when it comes to like RPGs about like JRPGs about small stuff, or like with the aesthetic of like smaller problems with their characters and that sort of stuff, the main one that comes to mind is Earthbound. And that, I'm sure there are more, but like it doesn't feel like there are. It feels like JRPGs especially, have to be about the end of the world somehow.
Persona 5? I've never played it, but if I recall, like what I know about it is like it's scaled to a city, right?
I mean, yeah, but it is kind of the end of the world too.
Okay.
And the thing about Persona,
I've never played it, like I said.
The thing about Persona is because personality and character are commodified by the game as like part of the power scaling mechanic and everything else, your social interactions become like a part of the progression as opposed to something that's just valuable
like
in and of itself.
Sim kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Fire Emblem.
Oh, that's hard.
Fire Emblem Three Houses does that, right? A little bit, where like you can't unlock certain things for a character unless you've done like story events for them. Am I right or wrong on that?
I think you're right. I haven't played a lot of Fire Emblem though.
Yeah, I played like the Fire Emblems for the Game Boy a lot, and then I did play some Three Houses. That's less of an RPG. That's a strategy game, I suppose. It was like Final Fantasy Tactics. I always liked those games for the Game Boy. Like whether it was Final Fantasy Tactics, Advanced Wars, or Fire Emblem, like that style of like kind of strategy, turn-based strategy game is. I found that really fun as a kid. Can't go back though. You can't go back to being a bored kid.
No, you can't.
You know.
Playing Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories before I understood what a good and bad game was. Before I had standards. Not that I really want to relive my childhood or anything, but it would nice to be able to see that game as actually enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like a special thing about my life or whatever is like getting to like be almost exactly the right age to experience like the game's transition to 3D, and like I mean, like Super Mario 64, like being like completely amazed by the fact that you're just in this 3D environment, right? And like that like what that meant for like exploration. And it's great that like the first two real 3D games I got to play were Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64. Not only are those both like A++ games like on their own terms, like even today they hold up, but they're just great games to like really make you like wonder, you know what I mean? Like there's just like there's so much there to keep your mind occupied. And it's so funny now I like know how to play video. It's like the difference between knowing how to play video games and not knowing how to play video games almost. So like I didn't know how to play a video game when I first played Ocarina of Time, right? And so I spent so much time playing that game and not getting anywhere because I didn't know how to play a game. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to solve a puzzle because I didn't have the experience of solving puzzles before, right? And whoops.
Yeah. I got off rhythm and it just threw me. Wow. Yeah, I'm not getting through that today. Whew.
Shoot, what was I saying? Oh, not knowing, like, so, like, right, you get to that point where, like, you now know how to play the game, or how to play games in general, or whatever, and then there's, I don't want to call it, there's, like, I don't want to say there's a magic loss there, because I think that something's lost, though, right? Like, so what I'm saying is, like, Ocarina of Time can still be fun once you know how to do it, or once you know how to play a game, but you can only get that experience of not knowing how to play once, right? And that's part of the reason why I think games, more so than maybe any other medium, like strive for new genres to play. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like there aren't new genres being invented there are new genres, of course, being invented all the time in every medium. But I think games desire, because every game is a puzzle game, right? To some degree, because every game is about you figuring it out. You're learning, right? That's the interaction. If there was no learning, if there was no puzzle at all, like, then it wouldn't be a game that you could possibly learn and get better at. Which then would it be a game? I don't know. I mean, it could be interactive. We could maybe argue that like a game like Gone Home, right? It doesn't follow that same thing as much, right? But like any game like this, right, where like there's explicit fail states like that are really easy to kind of read. But
Holy shit, this is double time? They actually doubled the pace of the song! This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I love it.
It's pretty cool. I like it when like beat games play with the settings like that you just did, where it's just like, oh my god, I like feeling overwhelmed by the beat game, right? But anyways, just to finish up my thought about genre, so video games I think strive for new genres because they want that new experience of you not knowing what you're like. I think everyone wants that experience of not fully knowing what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you hate it. Like I was actually just complaining to a friend the other day about how I love Dota 2, but we have very different play patterns in Dota 2. My friend, he plays like a different hero every game. Me, I will play like the same hero 20 games in a row. You know, that's like 20 games spread out over like 3 or 4 weeks, right? Like, you know, so like, because the game of Dota is really fucking long. And I was talking to him about it, and I said it's less about me loving to play that hero, though I typically will find a hero I love to play and just want to keep playing them. And it's more about the fact that I hate playing a hero I've never played before and having to try to learn while also my team is relying on me to do stuff, right? Like, and there's not really a way you can learn to play that hero without playing the game, right? Like, and so sometimes you don't like it. I think in competitive games, right, you don't like it because for me at least, maybe I need to be more selfish, but right, for me it's I don't like feeling like I let my team down, right? Like, I'm the queen of wanting to be the second best player of the team, right? Like very often, I just don't want to cause us to lose, right? Like, I'm not gonna carry us to victory, but can I just like not be the worst? Like, I want to contribute, you know? That's why I like playing probably support or tank in a lot of games, right? Is because support's role is to like help you win the game, and I like that. And so maybe that mentality makes it harder for me to switch things. But generally speaking, after that long Dota thing, I think we like to experience that new thing of like, I don't know what I'm doing right now, like, and trying to figure it out. And the best games get you there, right? Get you to that point where you really are like, you're like confused, or you're trying your damnedest to understand what you're even supposed to be doing, but also in a way that like is teaching you as you're going. And it's hard to do that when like you're playing Call of Duty 13, right? Like, yeah. And those games are mega popular. So obviously my thesis is is inherently flawed. But I do think like those games, right? How they market themselves though is I think it's very clearly right. They market themselves by is this time really slow?
Yeah, I wanted to see what halftime did because, oh my god, it's all pitch modulated. This is hilarious.
Um, but yeah, those games market themselves on whatever is different from last year's iteration, right? Whatever new
Yeah.
thing the player will have to learn.
So that's all over the branding. Everybody knows it's coming, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, that's also why I don't find those games exciting. Right, I don't play Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty, or you know, I'm trying to think of Battlefield, right? It's just, and that's okay. It can be not for me and for thee, right? But that's the opposite, right? It's supposed to be for thee and not for me, right? That's the phrase. But yeah.
And like you can't in a game that's competitive and online, you can't create like failure states for the player that are totally without consequence without also making the game totally without consequence, you know? Where like here I can turn on no fails and I can turn on slow mode and I can practice and then I can go in and do this, right? But like, and the game hasn't lost necessarily any value for me. But if I go into a like a training area in an online game, it feels rather superfluous, even if I'm trying to learn, because there aren't human players on the other side. So it hasn't accurately replicated the failure state or a safe environment without the failure state of the main game. So I can't really learn how to avoid failure in a totalizing way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, contained experiences can do that because there's less contingencies, there's less moving parts.
Ooh. One of the people on Reddit just suggested this game, Demon Crawl, which is like a Minesweeper roguelike.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my wish list. I'll probably buy it soon. What am I just gonna become a Minesweeper channel? Is that I've already made, this is my second video on Minesweeper.
Yes, you're officially the Minesweeper person from now on. Well, guys, thank you for joining us for interviewing Eric and also playing Unbeatable White Label. I just want to remind everybody, if they want to play this game, it is free for download on Steam right now, and you can go and enjoy it and support the...
Is it always free, or is it just free, like, is it, like, timed?
No, it's the demo. This demo is always free. So.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're going to charge for the actual game. I hope it's a reasonable price. I feel like pricing games is always a precarious thing because it's assigning value to something that necessarily is going to, you know, it's not like a one-to-one value proposition for everybody who engages with it. But the market has to make money, I suppose. That's how capitalism works.
Well, I would say, I mean, you know, I guess, I don't know. I just think, like, you know, the people who make the game, their labor is valuable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, you know, pricing to me is typically, I always typically kind of consider it less about the consumer and more in the eyes of the developer. Like how many copies of this do I need? Like, do I expect to move, and how much is that going to be worth? You know, my time and stuff. The consumer can always wait for it to go on sale or something too. Yeah. I know everyone's got a super long Steam backlog. You don't need to play X today. You know, you can wait for it to go on sale. That's my attitude. Though sometimes the thing is of the moment, right? You got like your Resident Evil 8. It's like, well, if you play, like, there's a, you know, you'll never get to play Resident Evil 8 in May 2021 ever again, right? And that's worth maybe the experience of that money or something. But no, this was actually a really fun coffee break. It felt like a classic Lunch Zone. Typically in Lunch Zone history, and coffee break I lump in with this a little bit. It's always been we don't talk about the game being played. we do it for like 2 minutes, and then it's like then Nathan's playing the game, and we're just like off having a discussion, right? And that's exactly what a seminar is too, right? You bring in Marx, and then it's like you talk about Marx for like 5 minutes, and then now you're talking about Google, right? And,
yeah.
And you're gonna spend 30 minutes talking about Google, but that's gonna be better than if you had talked about Marx for that.
Yeah, because the implications are where the new ideas come out of. It's yeah. I mean, I like it a lot. thanks for joining me, seriously. And thank you to all those lovely viewers who stuck it out. And for the people who, like David and Morgan, who are out there doing finals and listening to this, I hope it was a good podcast / Spotify playlist. Anyway, see you guys next time.